Hi everybody, this is Marianne Weeks from Mari's World. Again, series of 6-part for working with brands, and I'm joined today again with Nadine Hill from JuggleMum.com, and today we are here to talk about paid or not paid, which is a crucial question when it comes to blogging and working with brands, don't you think, Nadine?
Haha, show me the money, Mari. It's crucial.
It's not just about show me the money, is it? It's the time that people put into creating a blog post that, you know, you could sit down and write reviews all day, and at the end of the day, you want to look back and think you've actually got something in your pocket for that time spent working, basically.
Absolutely. And also, like you say, it's not just about the money. And I think later on in the call, we're going to come to this, but it's about at least being recompensed in some way for the time. So if it's not cold hard cash, it could be something else. So I'm sure we'll come on to that.
Yeah, sure. In fact, well, one thing, I mean, we've both been blogging now for like 6 years, more or less each. And, you know, I think it's come along a huge way since when we first started out. It's, the game has changed completely. And it's worth noting that it's in constant evolution. It's something reciprocally with the brands. And as we go along, we're finding our feet. Wouldn't you say?
I agree. I think that certainly in the earlier brand blogger relationships, it still is very much finding your feet from both sides. It's not just that the bloggers are, you know, trying to catch up. It's brands as well. They feel quite, well, how do we present ourselves well to bloggers, and how do we get that relationship going? And I think there is a kind of, we're all sort of scrabbling around in the dark a little, just trying to make it work and trying to find how it can work, but it is getting better. And I think that certainly as brands are being more respectful of the blogger's time, that is helping the relationship along.
Of course, but they're also noticing that working with bloggers is actually working for their products and working for their brand, and that's the beauty that lies at the bottom here.
I think it's easier now, isn't it, than it was in the past, because the people who are wanting to work with bloggers, they have to present their case to the higher ups within their company, don't they? And they have to say, well, this is what I want to budget for. But when there's no evidence, and now there's evidence how it works, so it is helping.
Cool. I mean, have you ever seen so far immediate results from anything you've written about or talked about or on YouTube, you know, that you can go back to a client and say, well, actually, look, there was this snowball?
I can actually say once, and it's just a small thing, and it was somebody known to me, but I did something one time on, it might have been like a lipstick or something, you know, relatively small value, you know, 20 quid. It might have been a designer lipstick or something. And somebody who I knew as a friend had seen my blog post and said, actually, I'm going to buy that. And they told me that they'd bought it. And I thought, well, there you go. That's one sale.
No, I know for fact, when we used to write about the Butlins holidays, I know for fact that a couple of people went off and actually booked holidays as a result of that. So that was really good. But let's have a look first today on ways to earn an income from your blog. So what would you go with first?
Okay, well, I'd suggest the main way I think that I earn an income from my blog would be doing sponsored posts and freelance writing with other companies.
Right.
That would be the biggest thing, because that's where I can charge the most money, I suppose. There are other ways you can earn an income from your blog. You know, if you have products to sell, so you might be selling books or ebooks or things like that, and you're using your blog in that case as a showcase of what you can do. But sponsored posts is something that many bloggers do, and that's a good way to earn an income. Other ways, though, would be things like your advertising, having advertising on the site, affiliate linking, and then charging for things like, you know, if you're doing a personal appearance somewhere, you know, if you're speaking or if you're doing something like that off the back of your blog.
Sure, sure. And also we're coming into paid for reviews now, because some products are, low value, and therefore a blogger can actually go forward now and say, yes, I'm very, very happy to review this product and write about it, and there will be a fee. And also I've heard of people running competitions and charging to run the competition, because little do people know the work that actually goes behind running a competition, and checking that everyone's done the right thing and getting your raffle copter up, etc., etc. So there are various ways now of and let's have a look at the second point today, is why should you be paid? Let's go a bit into detail on that.
Well, in terms of why you should be paid, I suppose it depends what you envisage and what your vision is for your individual blog. Some people will be doing it as a hobby. They might just earn a little bit of extra money, and that's fine, and that's no problem. Myself, I did start it as a bit of an outlet, a creative outlet for myself, but over the past few years, I definitely have turned it into a business, in that I want to make money from it. And I don't apologize for that. It's, I want to earn an income from it. I want to be able to work from home. I want to be able to look after my children. And this is a way that I can do that. So in terms of why you should be paid, like you touched on before, there are a lot of hours that go into each individual blog post. It could be anything from doing the research to trying out a product to putting together a photograph and I could spend a whole day doing a shoot, just one photo.
Absolutely.
So that there are a lot of hours that go into it. If you're going to put something worthwhile together, I could run off a review in 20 minutes. It wouldn't take any time, but what value is that going to have to the reader? And am I going to be proud of that? I don't just want to whittle off something quick. I want to make a good job and have thought about it and put it together in a way that I'm proud of.
I think that's a really good point that you've touched on, is being proud at the end of the day, because we write about the things we love, and we also take on work, and it's important that we're proud of it. I'd like to go back just a moment in time, because when we started off, there was the international financial crisis, wasn't there? So many mums were left at home. People were surviving on one wage for the entire family, and this slowly developed a way that mums could stay at home. They can still look after the kids and take them to school and go to the sports day, because this work goes around everything else we do in our lives. So this is another, I think, reason of history of how this sort of collaboration has come about. Would you decide to not? What kind of things would go under the not paid bracket?
Well, I don't know about for you, but for me, it could be something, there's probably two reasons. One might be if, say, I'm offered a product to review and it's something that I really want or need. The fact that I'm getting the product would be enough in a way, so that would, if I thought I could do a really good post about this and all of that, I wouldn't necessarily go for the money on that instance. But on another score, there's something that I'm doing in a few weeks which is a bit more educational for my blog. So I'm not talking about a commercial company. It's actually about something to do with internet safety for children. It's not anything that's a commercial business. It's more of an education thing.
Yeah,
I feel it's a subject that's important and it needs addressing, and so it's something that I'm interested in, I'm passionate about. So I'm not being paid to write about it, but I will be writing about it.
Yeah, an occasion where I often do something for free, let's say, is when I'm working with a charity, and I've worked with a few now, and if I feel that the cause is very close to my heart, I'm very, very happy to step in. You can't do them all. There's hundreds knocking on the door, so you have to cherry pick which ones suit your life, suit your blog, and I think if you do that and you're honest, then the message comes over. And of course you can't help everybody out, but it is nice to put some energy and creative skills behind something like that as well. Have you worked on any charity campaigns?
To be honest, not any that I can think of, really. I don't think so. I mean, no, I don't think I have, actually. And I suppose it's just in the past, you know, when something has come through, or if something's come through and it was, say, a press release and it's about what a charity or a business is doing, press releases don't tend to excite me very much. No. You know, I kind of switch off. I'm much more interested when a PR comes to me and says, let's say it's a charity, and they say to me, right, we're putting together this thing. We would like you to, let's use a Macmillan Cancer Research idea. They do like a coffee morning, don't they? And they want people to get together and do a coffee morning and raise money for cancer. Yeah. That's something, it's a project, it gives you something to do, there's something there that you could write about. So if it was something like that, if a PR came by and said, we want to raise awareness of XYZ, and this is what we're, you know, pitching, and it's to get involved in something, then that might be interesting, because it's something that's blog collateral. I could talk about it. I've got a natural way of talking about what I did in my life and linking in that brand. So that would, but they're few and far between, the PRs that come and actually do that.
Yeah, and another reason when I might accept unpaid work is when the approach is from a new company, and therefore, you know, a PR might not just represent one brand. In fact, very often they represent different things. And once you get to know that person and you've worked, or, you know, on a collaboration basis, which there's no money involved, but you can put it forward for other ideas in the future. But it's important to build up the relationship, as we've been saying, you know, many times in our other videos so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think the relationship is key, and I would want to feel that if I did something that was, for, you know, for argument's sake, a freebie for a company, I would want to feel that it wasn't just a hit and run. Thank you very much, we've got our post and that's the end of it. I would want to feel that me doing something and showing a bit of goodwill on my side would maybe lead somewhere.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So basically, we're telling any newbie bloggers out there today who, you know, would like to start working with brands that it's the time that you put into creating a blog post that looks beautiful, that's out there all the time on your site. That's the value and why you should be paid for your work.
Absolutely. One of the other ways, we were talking about being not paid and working for it and being paid for it. Yeah. One of the other things that we did want to touch on within this session was Media Kit.
Oh yeah, I was coming on to that.
We're on the same line. Yeah, Media Kit. Now, that's something for me, you know, like you said, we've been doing this 6 years. It's only recently that I've actually pulled one together. I haven't done it in the past, purely because, I mean, first of all, I wasn't asked for it. And second of all, I just thought, well, I've not been asked for it. I've worked with all these different companies. Nobody's asked me for it. But I'm finding more so these days, it is becoming more and more requested. They want to know what your follower numbers are on Twitter and how many you've got on Instagram and what social platforms you're on. So it's something that I have worked on recently.
Exactly. Well, I had like exactly the same as you. Hadn't had it for a long time, and then I heard of a friend of mine who was making them. She works really well in Canva, which I can't get my head around. I'm a PicMonkey girl myself, and she threw this together for me, which is a PDF. So let's have a quick look at what actually goes on a media. Well, as you said, if it's done in something like Canva, then you can go in and alter the numbers, alter the everything as you go along. So the statistics, vitally important. They want to know how many followers you have on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think a difficult one to nail is the unique views. Everyone seems to, you know, sometimes they're very inflated out there. You can look at your own and think, oh my goodness, you know, I'm nowhere near that. I don't think that's necessarily of huge importance. Moving on, a paragraph about yourself, what you do, what you know, your strengths, where they lie. Sell yourself a bit, you know. Yeah. Of course, achievements, they should be written down. If you were shortlisted for any prizes or awards around the blogosphere, or campaigns you've worked successfully on, things like that. And the last thing I would say, apart from your contact details, of course, are your rates. So you have to evaluate how much what's going to actually make you move and write a great blog post for a brand. Yes. Would you add anything to that? Have I missed anything out?
No, I think the only thing I would add, you did talk about telling the story of who we are and what we're doing. I think if you have got a kind of defined brand yourself, within your blog, well, I talk about food and travel, and that's it. It is worth getting that across, that personality. The only thing I'd add probably would be, I kind of always like to see a photo. I think
good idea.
Photos are quite nice, and also, like, I have those on my business cards, for example, as well. And I often get commented by the brand when I've talked to someone, I've handed over my card, and they'll say, "Oh, look, it's great that you've got a photo, because that'll help them remember me."
It's of vital importance, that is, because especially if you're going to somewhere like Brit Mums Live or Blog Camp and the brand's there, you give that. They speak to thousands of people, or hundreds of people. When they get home, they have a reminder of who you were immediately, files through hundreds of business cards. So it's an excellent idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would put a photo on. I just think it helps.
Yes, sure. Well, I think that just about covers paid or not paid today. And we will be back with part 6, which is how to grow your blog. And Nadine's going to be running that one very, very soon. So thank you, everybody, for joining in and listening. And we'll be back. Brand Bloggers will be back very soon to see you again.
Thank you.